Let's see. So, God, 40 people already in the house. We must be getting it done by word of mouth, because a lot of people are telling me again they're not getting notifications. Let's see. Let me make sure the sound's off. Let's see who we got here. 37, 38 people in the house. Monique Hendry's back. Yeah. Raquel Trevino, Mira Ginsburg, Mary Cooper's always here. Always. Thank you. Amanda Lowe's, thank you for your love and support and contribution, and so many others here. There's a lot of what people would say are small contributions that come in. I don't consider them small. It doesn't matter. I got one the other day for 31 cents, and every one of them are an energetic impression, a currency, a 5D currency. So, you know, the world doesn't operate the way it used to. So I've had people even ask us about, you know, loaning money and becoming an investor and stuff. And I don't think we do things in the way that we used to do it. The way I understand it is it's all through gifting, and we pay it forward. Equal energies exchanged, and this is the 5D currency. And so I just want to say thank you to everybody for your love and support and contributions. Let me see what she's saying. I'll have to use Be Live on my phone. How do I get in? Okay. Just give me 1 second. First time here, Lindsay Wilson, New Jersey. All right. We've had a lot of history in New Jersey. We've had some. Let's see. I'm on Be Live now. What do you got? Okay, no. Close. Be Live. Close all apps. Then Messenger. And click link. Okay. She's coming. She just got confused. Monique. All right. Delia Flores, Barbie Steiner, my friend in Florida. James Cook. Let's see. Yeah, Lindsay Wilson, everybody, welcome. Hey, Corey Marshall's here, Universal Brothers and Sister Circle. Alinka Sandhu from Bucharest. Yeah. Shaz Hargreaves. Who else am I missing? Barb Bradley. Karen, I can't see even with glasses. Fenstermacher. And, of course, Verna Dowling, my dear friend. Many dear friends. Haha, get your old shift together. Yeah, I'm trying. Kelly Duran. Yeah, I'm getting a little burnt, man. I've been doing 4, 5, 6 shows a day. But Wednesday, I'm going to take a break. Where's the link? Okay. Paste. Oh, maybe that's what the problem was. Maybe I didn't give her the link. Uh-oh. That should do it. Paste. Okay. Well, every time we have technical issues, we always have a great show. All right. So that should be it right there. All right. Okay. Arkansas's in the house. Phoebe Hell. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to take off. We stepped into autumn here. Thank God we aren't cooking anymore. Oh, cooking as in hot. Yeah. I think that's what Morgan told me. She said they're going into, autumn and then winter. So she wants to get back over here before it gets too cold. Energy galore. That's right. 20th is for manifesting. Let's see who else we got. Judy Litke. All right, let me see what she's doing. Okay. Let's see here. Well, okay. Linda Dinkelman. Yeah, so I was just saying, big thank you to everybody. Spring equinox is coming. Super moon next day. Yeah. I think that the super moon in Verna loves the winter. Well, come to the U.S. where they've got 3 and 4 feet of snow in the winter. Yeah, I discovered that last year. Okay, here she's coming back with a comment. Let's see. It won't let me in. Okay. All right. Try one more thing. No rush. No worries. Restart phone. Once that is done, just open Messenger and click the link. That's it. What's up, Paul? Paul just came out with a new album. Paul Leftenegger. I know I'm not saying it right. It's like Schwarzenegger, but Leftenegger. Yeah. Jacqueline Jackson, Woodstock, New York. Desley Lineker, she's coming on, I think, on the 30th. A longtime supporter. Michelle Weisenberger. Yeah. Yeah, you know, we had a show last night, and we had people, the one that was with Gayatri Singh with the dragons. Whoa, man. Was that? And we had the same type of problem starting out the show. It took about 15 or 20 minutes to get her on, but then we went about another hour and 10 minutes after that. And we had a fantastic show, but there was people from all over the world. I mean, countries, obscure countries. I mean, it was amazing, all over the place. Monique says Monique is a very, very close friend of Morgan's and me, and actually a very big part of Soulogy. She says today's it's powerful today, much honoring within, and I see that. I just talked to a friend for a while, messaging a while ago, talking about how important I think it is to be alone, to have some solitude over these next couple of weeks. You know, Morgan's taking some time alone. I've spent all my time alone when I'm not broadcasting. Because when I'm not broadcasting, I'm eating or laying down. But yeah, I think Monique's right. It's even more than the day. I think it's a powerful period. Certainly leading up the days before this full moon and equinox, super moon and equinox, and then the days after. And I think my friend Juan Jose Vallejos Civicos, who's coming on, and many of you know him, he pointed, I said, when do you want to be on? And he pointed out that there's a fourth 333 day this month. And that's the day he's on. So I guess that would be the 30th, I think. Let's see what happened. I'm in. Can you see me? No, I cannot. No, you're not in. Let me see. She's not in. All right, let me try one more thing. Okay. Did you open Be Live? Let me just try one more thing. Preparation for the celebrations. Do not open Be Live. Close all apps, then only open Messenger and click the link. Okay, that's it. Monique says it's in preparation for the celebrations. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Hello, Alicia Prim. She says easier to connect with our own souls. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with what she's saying. And if you think about it through this whole entire journey, whenever we've gone through these periods, and they're not like horrible periods, they require a lot of our attention to stay balanced. And they're not heavy, but they're not even intense. They're just consuming. But my point is whenever we go through these things, there's always a bigger and bigger shift afterwards. And I think that's what she's talking about, the frequency of celebration. I resonate with that. We might be having a problem here. Let's see. I'll tell you what, if we have a problem, let me just make sure before I put my foot in my mouth. If we have a problem, I think what I'll do is, hello, Nina Mataresi. We had the same problem that we had with Nina, but we're going to get that worked out too and get her on here. Love you too. Yeah. Monique says it's easy to get the wobbles if you're not astute with your connection. Yeah. You can wobble into balance, basically. Oh, there she is. I knew it was going to be all right. Okay. See, I told you, anytime we have technical difficulties, we always have a great show.
Yeah. Good old Mercury retrograde for you.
There you go. What's going on? You couldn't
What's
get it to
not
work on your
going on?
computer.
Huh?
You couldn't get it to work on your computer.
No, but I'm on the phone. It's okay. It'll work.
Yeah.
It'll have to.
So we've just been rapping a little bit. Last night we had a show that started 20 minutes late too. And every time we have technical difficulties, we always have a fantastic show. And last night was a fantastic show with Gayatri Singh out of India. Dragons. It's all about dragons and a lot of other stuff. It was very, very powerful. Hello, Maria Ascension. I can't see the whole name. BP Jules in the house. Wendy Ann McDonald. So also Maryanne Savino's in the house from New York, Long Island, I think. Isn't it Long Island?
No, New York. I'm in West Harlem.
Oh, you're in West Harlem.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I got to tell you. I got to tell you a story that I'm gonna hand it over to you. So I went to New York City. I left my house October 13th, 2016 for good. I left everything behind. I went to the mountains of Arkansas for a couple of months in the dead of winter on a mountain, basically, and had some great experiences. And then I started hearing, you got to go to New York City. And I'm like, I don't want to go to New York City. You know, when in my old corporate life, they offered it to me like 3 times and big money. I was like, no, I don't want to go to New York City, even though I'd never been there. So anyway, what ended up happening was I got booted out of Arkansas and I caught a bus and went to New York City. I had $25 in my pocket, and this incredible thing happened. Just this whole energetic expansion of Soulogy. Just wait. Long story short, I was making music, doing Soul Speaks. I met this one of the people that followed Soulogy, an Indigo, little 23-year-old DJ artist, and she lived by Yankee Stadium, and I was staying in the Bronx, and I was broadcasting. She goes, "I'm right down the road." I said, "Come over." So we started jamming a little bit, and we were riding the subway one day coming back from Coney Island one night about 11:30, and she's like a little oracle, right? And so we're on the subway. It's about 11:30 at night. We're like nearing the Harlem. It's not Yankee Stadium, but like 3 or 4 stations in front of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I started getting this transmission, and I saw Archangel Michael standing over me, and I saw Saint Germain standing over her, and I don't know what the hell was going on, some kind of major activation. And I looked at her and I said, "Are you feeling this?" And she said, "Yes, I'm scared." And I said, I just held her hand. I said, "Just be cool." And then I got this transmission, because what I'd wanted to do was perform live locally, right? And so I got this transmission, not a transmission, an actual vision, and I saw Harlem Avenue and 126th, something like that.
I'm on St. Nicholas Avenue and between 126th and 127th. So you were right up in my hood.
Okay, this is where, yeah. So this is where it happened. Now I didn't know there is not a Harlem Avenue, right? It's like Martin Luther King Boulevard. Yeah.
I mean, there's a few different avenues up here, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of powerful spirits here.
Yeah, I know. So let me tell you what happened. So what happened was, I'm into old rap, you know, the real stuff, the raw stuff, like Big L from Harlem.
Mhm.
And so I told her, I said, we got to go to the street corner. I see it clear as day, 126 in Harlem. We got to go there. So the next day I met her at this diner at Yankee Stadium, and we recorded this. We were at the diner. I said, "Hey, this is what happened last night. We're going to go find this place. We know we're supposed to go there. Something's going to happen." So we ended up going over there. We're walking down, I think it's called Martin Luther King Boulevard, the main drag, where So we're walking down there. That's a trip in itself. There's street performers. There's all this culture. There's all this food, you know.
Yeah,
we're just walking and walking. And we walked and walked and walked and walked. And finally, we get through to, it was right there, 127, 126, 125. And we were standing on the corner, and she looked at me and she goes, "Over there." So she was pointing catty corner, one street off from Martin Luther King. So I walk into, I said, okay, I'm going in. So I walk into this place. It's like a bar and grill. I go to the bartender. I'm like, hey, man, I want to make some music. He said, we don't do that here. Go downstairs. So we walk outside, and I look at this sign, and it says the underground. And it's right. So I walk in, and this dude is setting up a show. And I walked right up to him, and I said, what are you doing, man? He said, I'm setting up a show. I said, well, he said, well, what are you doing? I said, I want to perform. I said, here, listen to this. And so I handed him my phone, and he's got it like this. He tells the guy, DJ, turn that down, turn that down. And he goes, you got any more? So I gave him another one, But so that was my thing. Yeah. And the thing was, we filmed it all. We filmed
a lot of music here. Yeah.
Oh my God. That Harlem, to me, the Harlem is the heart of New York City. Yeah, which I believe is the heart of at least 1/4 of this earth or something. So how have you been since we saw you last? I sent you hopefully a client. I sent you a guy after the show. He's in New York City.
Yeah, I spoke with somebody who mentioned you. I'm trying to remember a few people contacted me from Facebook saying they had listened to the show, and it was kind of nice to connect with everybody.
That's usually how it happens.
Yeah,
So when did I don't have my calendar? We talked about a month ago, probably, maybe 3 to 4 weeks ago.
Right.
And these last 2.5 weeks, we'll just go back to the 1st of March, have been gangbusters, have they not?
Yeah, really intense. I think this Mercury retrograde, there's a number of planets in Pisces, and then Uranus moved into Taurus, which is not, it's very comfortable placement for it. Taurus likes to be kind of, in its place of being in the comfort zone, and Uranus is the great awakener and shakes things up. So Taurus does not like that.
So I wonder if, because I never really paid attention to the stars, and it's been Sirius. I've noticed Sirius since I woke up. And then there's Orion's belt, which has been jumping out the last 2-3 months. And then, of course, to the other side is Pleiades. But this one really jumped out at me probably before I talked to you the first time. And it's Aldebaran, which I looked it up. It's the eye of Taurus. Yeah. And it's been like, it was like talking to me, like, hey, you were from here, you stopped. This is one of your stops. Do you remember what happened?
It's been a trip, I have to say. These energies with all the Pisces energies, because of there's a number of planets in Pisces right now. It's a deep time. It's really about going into deep levels. It's affecting many people, especially high sensitives. We're really feeling it. We're having to, with the Mercury retrograde, we're having to revisit things from the past.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to talk about being in the unknown, because, with Ascension, it's not comfortable being in the unknown. We kind of want to know what's going to go on here, what's happening here, why are we experiencing all this? We're going through a major shift, major transformation.
1 second.
Not everything can be known.
Robert, 1 second. They're saying that that your face is getting cut off. Could you raise it? They want to see your beautiful face. Come on.
Oh,
there you go.
Is that better?
Yeah. I think it's not on our screen. It's on theirs because there's a little live in the number. You're good. You're good like that. That's good.
Is that okay?
Yeah. So go back to what you're. Yeah, it's a good time to go in.
It's very much. We're in this place of being in the unknown. And I was tuning in about it, and I've always felt this about Ascension. That's why I'm not big on predictions, because I don't think certain things are meant to be known with this journey. I think that if we know too much, our egos get in the way. The mind comes in and starts trying to figure everything out.
Yeah.
And that can really create a problem, because this journey is about the soul leading the way. And when that ego gets in the way, it sabotages us.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know,
What's Allison? Allison. I forget her last name. I'm getting old. Ingle.
okay,
I was on yesterday, the day before, and she does the astrology thing with what she calls depth archetypals. I can't remember
right.
all the names. She's very good, and she was saying that with the planetary arrangement or whatever you call it, and the retrograde, that what was happening was that a lot of information was coming in, and we were not understanding what it was, and it was kind of like a blessing, kind of like a good thing.
I
I
agree.
don't know.
I think sometimes not knowing and just let the universe guide us, let the flow come in of that feminine energy and let it move us into right order. We will resist and push back and go against it. And, it's not going to work. I mean, it hasn't. And we're
Yeah.
being, in a sense, forced to go into this place of surrender.
Yeah.
Not
Now
comfortable.
you mentioned Pisces. Now you
Yeah.
said something about is it particularly, or is it? And you said, okay, so this is a time
Well,
when
Taurus.
very sensitive people
Yeah.
are more affected, but probably okay. So more affected, and then also you mentioned Pisces. So is Pisces or any other sign getting this heavier than others?
Well, I think it depends on the placement in everybody's chart. I definitely think the high sensitives, water signs, or if you have a lot of water in your chart, depending on where, I'm not an astrologer, but I dabble in it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Where the placements are definitely will have an effect on us. We're also in a Mercury retrograde in Pisces. Neptune is in Pisces. The sun is in Pisces. And I don't know if it's Vesta or one of the asteroids is also in Pisces. We also had a moon in Pisces. So in the few days that we had the new moon, we had about 4 or 5 planets all in Pisces. And you could really feel the sensitivity of all of that. So it's really about honoring our sensitivity. Even if you're not a Pisces, it's not about that. Whatever your sensitivity connection is, you're going to feel it.
Yeah.
We've been having geomagnetic storms as of like yesterday. It started. I already felt it coming in before. It's like I'm the
Yeah.
poster child for this stuff. I tell you, I could tell right away before it even shows up on the graph that, okay, something's
Yeah.
going on. And then the next day, or could be within hours later, boom, there it is. It goes up, and the resonance of the Schumann resonance is spiking.
Did you see
And
that? Did you see that? The one I know for sure was a 13 hours straight of a
yeah,
whiteout. And
yeah,
then I think it actually, because I think I saw Greg Prescott put a post up. I
yeah.
can't remember my memory, but I think it was early this morning, my time. So that would have put it like at 20 hours or 24 hours of
Mhm.
just pure whiteout, which was
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
It was pretty amazing. I mean, right now we're in a geostorm. I've been posting stuff on my timeline about what's going on with the spikes, and a lot of people are coming in and telling me, "Oh my gosh, I could feel it before I saw that." I said, "Exactly. That's what
Yeah.
happens to me when we used to have a lot of solar flares. There was a time where we were having so many solar flares." And I could tell before it was showing up on spaceweather.com, I know we're about to get one. I'd come down with a headache or nausea or something. And then boom, within a matter of a few hours or even minutes, there it is.
Yeah.
It's really important. We have to take responsibility for ourselves and do a lot of self-care.
Yeah.
Because with these energies, we have to learn to navigate.
Yeah.
It's not going to, people keep asking me, when is this going to end? And I said, that's a good question. I said, I don't know if it's about ending. I think it's more about learning to navigate, grab the
Yeah.
reins
Yeah.
and learn, it's that Chariot card in the tarot, grab the reins and just, follow the flow of the universe, because we're going to be challenged at times.
Yeah. Now, and I think one thing is you can set it down, be comfortable. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the head getting cut off. So You know,
I want to make sure I'm on. Can they see me? Can you guys see me?
Yeah, we can see you.
Okay. It's better if I just wanted to make sure.
So what I was going to say is I agree with what you're saying. So maybe the word is transforming, not is it going to be over? We're transforming.
Right.
And I think one of the things that has really helped us, and I'm seeing it in myself and other people and with the work I do, which is we're conscious of projecting, and therefore we're doing a pretty good job of not projecting as time goes on. And I think that's part of that continuous transforming.
We're definitely in this major shift of consciousness, but you know, I hear that word ascension. It's used constantly, and I don't think we're not going anywhere.
No.
It's more of where I call it either like a descension, or we're going deeper inside of ourselves and opening up to the aspects we've cut off from because of something that happened to us, trauma. You know, we were traumatized, not only from this lifetime, but past lifetimes.
Sure.
So we're bringing in the aspect and opening up from a deeper place inside. And it's also what I call this delayering of the wounds. Whatever we've carried into this lifetime from other lifetimes that did not get cleared, that did not get healed, is now in the DNA in the field. So every time we get infused with an influx of some kind of light, whether it's photon light, solar light, starlight, whatever it is, shifts in the moon, or it could be retrogrades, it could be stargates. These are opportunities. We're getting infused. It's hitting the dense, dark places inside of us. You know, I work a lot with the shadow. And to me, the shadow is also God consciousness. It's consciousness. And we have to keep on releasing the layers of the old frequency, of the old programming that's basically kept us limited. So ascension is an opportunity for that. It gives us opportunities to restore our wholeness. We're already whole. We just forget. And
I think we're truly anchoring. You know, like you said, we're not going anywhere. We're truly anchoring. We're like a magnet. We're pulling everything into us, to us, in this collective field, you know, which is centralized in our own being, the center of the universe. So that's a powerful, powerful thing. I'm sure maybe we've been to this rodeo before, but I think there is a dynamic aspect to it, and that is that we're actually merging this physical matter.
It is a merging. It's a merging of your soul self into the human aspect, but coming into that multidimensional of everything that we are. Yeah. And it's not an easy journey. And I think that perhaps we tried this before, but we didn't make it through if that did happen. Some people say we already tried this, but we didn't make it last time. Now we're in it and we're moving forward this time, which is very possibly true. I think that could very well be true. It feels that way to me.
Yeah, that's the story. Well, yeah, because and I didn't follow that stuff for a long time, and I still don't. I just pick it up in my work, but that's in regard to Lemuria and Atlantis, and there's what is it, Asylum? Anyway, this I can't remember the I don't say conventional wisdom, but the general consensus, I think, of what I've read in that is that this is the fourth go round, either the fourth or the fifth. And the reason I think that you're right, and there's some relevance to that, not just that it happened, because I have noticed recently that Lemuria and Atlantis, and I know it's not just me, has popping up everywhere.
Oh,
people are saying that, you know, people are pulling it in. It's almost like the dragons. The dragons, we were talking about this last night. The dragons, people have been talking about the dragons in mass for the last 4 or 5 months. So
dragons like these things are up everywhere. They're even making animated films about it. I mean, it's like How to Train Your Dragon. I thought, this is too crazy. Oh my God.
Well, Gayatri, I put up quite a few of her paintings and showed them on the show. So on this software, I have to load it on and make a photo album on my Facebook page. And a lady, I was just looking at it a while ago when I was laying down, a lady said, my kid, I think it was a girl, is connected to the dragons, 9 years old, and showed a couple of hers. And
Wow.
one of them was a dragon of the sea, and the other one was a dragon of the grid. Now, this is a 9-year-old,
That's amazing.
So,
you know, dragons to me have all the elements because they fly, they spew fire, they go in water, and they're on the earth. So it's almost like, you know, the dragon is the one creature that holds all the elements.
Yeah.
It's pretty powerful medicine.
We were talking about it last night, and I was telling her that when I came here, well, she was telling me, now this woman has been doing the kind of work you do and so many others for many, many years, 15, 20 years. In fact, she started in 1995 with direct galactic communication. So, and I said to her, because all I've seen of her, and she's interacted with some of the other people who've been on the show, has been these incredible dragons. And she does dragon sessions, right? So I said to her, how long have you been working with the dragon? She goes, since October 27th. And I'm like, whoa, on October 27th, when I arrived in Kauai, right? And I started getting the dragons. I had them for like 5 or 6 weeks here straight every day. And so, a couple things come out of that, these correlations, these connections that are happening, that's like an expanded or a telepathy on steroids or whatever you want to call it, an exponential level up of telepathy and the beehive intelligence that we all share, whatever it is. But what I got from the dragons was that, and I want to see what your thoughts are, what your experiences or what your intel is, was that they were here when this started. And that you say that they contain all the elements, I find fascinating, because that would make sense that they contained everything, and you would almost need that when this thing was started. Right?
Definitely. I learned a lot of that through dance, believe it or not. Some of the dances that I've studied are temple dances, and one of them was from Egypt. And my teacher talked a lot about the dragon energy and how they hold all the elements, because she teaches the dance of the elements. There are 4 basic movements from 4 power animals, but then you bring that whole dragon into it. And boy, I really started to get initiated by that years ago. I mean, when I met her, it was probably like almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're powerful energies. I mean, it's nice to try to kind of connect with that energy, especially if you're feeling really called to it, because it has messages and it can teach you a lot about life and about the universe.
Well, I got to tell you, this started, I guess, with her. Well, it started the first 6 weeks I was here. Then Morgan came, right?
Was this last year in October?
Yeah, this is October 27, 2018. Wow. Yeah. So I got here.
Been in Hawaii that long?
No. I've been a hobo for the last 2.5, 3 years. Everyone that followed Soulogy knows that.
Welcome to Ascension.
Right. So, yeah, because I was just given this, I had covered a goddess conference in Washington, D.C., and I was going to try to make this work in Sedona. And I'm trying to reunite with Morgan and work something out permanently, right? And so I just got this, you got to go to Kauai. I'm like, I didn't know what Kauai is, and so I get over here and then everything started. But my point is that they were with me. They were all feminine too. They were all feminine, and so I had all these experiences with them. Then Morgan came, we had a bunch of Lemurian experiences. And then about 2 months or 6 weeks into the time she was here, I was on the north side of the island, and they have that Puff the Magic Dragon that is on the bay of the Northern Bay. And I'm sitting on the couch of a hotel. We got to get out. We don't know where we're going to go. We're being given all this stuff, hour by hour. And this freaking dragon, first time it ever happened to me, I was telling about it last night, jumped into my body. I mean, jumped into my body. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to throw up, and she's like laughing at me, she's like, have you ever had this happen?
There's a lot of dragon energy in Hawaii.
Oh my God. But the one that jumped into me was masculine, right? And never left. And it's still there. I can feel it right now. Well, what I was going to tell you is that, so then talking to Gayatri last night, was the dragon thing. I get on a show this morning, Dr. Joe Delaney in Liverpool starts talking about a dragon that he's been talking to, black with red eyes, and then he starts to imitate its voice, and it sounds like The Exorcist. So this thing is coming up, and I got off the show, and I laid on the couch. Going back to what you said, I was like, I think I'm supposed to connect with you guys, right? And all of a sudden, I hear this bottle fall, a glass bottle fall in the closet, and I'm like, okay, I'm in. Just let me pace myself. So there's got to be some reason for this,
Well, we're coming into a higher consciousness, not just higher, but expanded. And a lot of people keep asking me, and I know I've had this for years, they feel very ungrounded. And it's like everybody keeps talking about, we need to get grounded, we need to get grounded. And I used to say this a lot myself. And then I started saying to myself, of course, and to some degree, we have to be grounded. But sometimes I think you have to honor when you're not grounded, that it's okay to let the frequencies move through you until you're ready to come back into that sense of groundedness. Because until things level out, and this is going to keep going on and on, you're going to feel ungrounded. We're going through so many shifts so fast that it's hard for our minds to keep up with it. It's like the soul knows it. It gets it. It's on top. It's on, right on target with it. The heart is certainly following that, but the mind gets in the way and starts to say, oh, wait a second. This is a little bit too much now. I don't think I can handle this. I'm going to step back into my comfort zone, and
would you say that it's similar then? Because I think this is what you're saying, which is good for me, people that like to connect the dots. But would you say that's similar, that as these things are coming in and we become wobbled or ungrounded, that it would be a similar process as to our emotions? Like, I know I really started to align when I could say, okay, you know what? I'm angry. I'm going to just sit down by myself and feel this anger. And then it would just wash through me and dissipate. So is it the same thing? Instead of resisting it, to just allow it and accept it?
That's the thing, is that when we go into resistance, we freeze. It's that fight or flight. And it's could be from wounded childhood stuff. It could be past lifetimes. It could be so many different things that cause that. I don't even think at this point that it matters, because I used to focus a lot on past lives. And I said, one day I woke up, I said, I'm in this life. That's whatever rolled over from the other life or the lives before that, I'm in a new life. I want to stay focused here. Not that there's anything wrong with going back into past lives. It's totally fine. But I do think it's a good way to gather information. Huh?
I said it's a good way to gather information.
Yeah, it is. I mean, as the emotions come up and we're wobbly, because we are in a place of, things are wobbly. Things are, moving so quickly. We can't get our footing. We're trying to ground ourselves. And I sometimes just say, you know what, universe, or I go to my divine presence, I'm having a hard time getting grounded today, or I'm having a hard time with the fear. I'm having a hard time with the depression, whatever it is. And I say, I know I have to be responsible here, and I'm not trying to get out of this, but I need to take a freaking break here. So you take over.
Yeah.
One day,
I do that.
Literally, I said, you know what? Screw you. Screw this. I'm tired. Yeah. You take over until I'm ready to pick this shit up again. And I tell you, every time I do that, it works, because it's almost like they're saying, finally, she gets it. Just surrender.
Yeah.
We're human. The other thing I want to say, I posted about this earlier on my timeline. This ascension journey, we have to be willing to surrender and allow the frequencies to flow through us and get out of the way. But the other thing I was going to mention, and now I lost it. Let me see if I could pull it up over here for a second, because I wrote this just before we came on, or a little while before. And I wrote it on here. Here we go.
Got it?
Yeah. I wrote about, this is a gradual process. There is no way. We cannot just go into higher states of consciousness, boom, 1, 2, 3, we can just shift really fast now. Our human bodies, our biology, our psyches
Yeah.
would never be able to handle that. We would never be able to take in the high and expanded, accelerated frequencies without physically dying. That's why it's called the Ascension Process. It's a journey. It's a process. You're taking steps. You're going through these shifts, and then you got to stop and settle down and let everything integrate. When it's time again, you pick it up and you move, you take another step forward. A lot of resting, rejuvenating, and then action. That's that balance of the masculine and the feminine. The masculine comes up with the ideas. It's got the vision. It's got the action, the movement. And then you have that soft feminine, even though it could be chaotic at times too, but you have that feminine energy of receptivity, of surrender, of just allowing. It has to come into balance. We have to find our way within those two frequencies and work from that. I do believe that's a huge piece to this journey.
That's a great explanation. I want to ask you about the masculine energy in a second. I wanted to go back to some of these comments and tie up the dragon part. So Chrissy Johnson said, I had a dream dragons saved us from an alien attack. They are protectors. Michael Harrell says, in response to her, that was not a dream. That was a memory from back at the time of Pan. It was a real deal. And then down here, somebody says, TK, I had an experience via meditation and a golden dragon came and we merged. This was a few months ago, approximately. And then Delia Flores, when I did my level 2 Reiki, I was met with dragon energy and starseed galactic dragon energy. Emma Barron, please clarify this dragon going into you. Dragons are mystic creatures. How can a mystic creature go into you? And you can elaborate on this, but as I understand it, and it's not just unique to dragon energy. It could be anything. It could be the mother goddess energy. Could be anything. But that dragon occurrence that I had was a lot like what the other somebody said.
I see
it's embodying it, right? It's embodying that part of you. Yeah.
When you hear a lot of people talk about shadow or the dark, how it's negative, it's bad, it's not good. Dragons are scary, they're ugly. You don't want to. You're just, again, we're denying that part of ourselves that is the balance of the light and the fun stuff and the, the cute little animals, bunnies, as opposed to the scary fire spewing dragon. You have to have that balance, and that the new awakened masculine energy that's coming into the planet is incredibly powerful. I see that happening. I feel it. And it's not as easy to see here in New York, but I'm seeing it.
This is what I wanted to talk to you about. Okay. Because, and I'm not going to go into all the stories. I've talked about it on the other show, but I want to get your take on, you're already there. So, what I'm understanding is, because there's been so much talk about the feminine and the masculine, right? The feminine landed 3 years ago. When's he going to show up? And then you started hearing about that last summer. And I have that same parallel going in my life, in my relationship with Morgan and so on. But man, it started in January, really kicking in. Yeah. And it really started leveling up March 1st. Now, everybody seemed to be everybody was twisting at both ends for like the first 10, 12 days of the month. But over the last few days, I've noticed in the synthesis of my work, so picking up all the energies of who I'm talking to in the audience and this and that, my own stuff, and what I'm receiving, I see this masculine energy is like sticking his chest out and like, I'm here. I got sacred wisdom too. And I'm seeing it affect, everyone, not just men, not just women, but and that's what, and the last thing I was going to say, the last thing I was going to say is and elaborate or whatever. It seems to be this energy of own it, who you are, own what you are. It's time. No more bullshit. It's time.
Be who you are in your true light. And the thing that I like that you said about, I'm noticing I've always been of course, I've worked on this, but I've come a lot from a masculine energy within myself. Being a Leo, I grew up, you know, having to be the father to myself because I lost my dad so young. So I had to really step into masculine energy for survival. And of course, then when I realized as I was getting deeper into my spirituality that I said, wow, I didn't realize how much I was living from a masculine energy. Even though you can appear very feminine, that doesn't mean you're living in your feminine. So I've noticed that the masculine in me has changed. I kept thinking, oh, it's because I'm bringing in more of my feminine, which at times is true. But it's not only that. It's like what you just said. Something is changing within the masculine frequency that's affecting,
which affects everyone. I'm seeing it in women.
Yes.
That I've been talking to. Look, I've had 2 shows in the last 2 days with what I would call women that were in the background for many, many years, 15, 20 years doing the work. And actually 3. And all 3 of them kind of got in my face. Now, these are like grandmothers. These are like, you know, Glinda the Good Witch of the North, you know, or you know, like fairy godmothers. And they're like, Todd, you need to step up and own it. And I'm like, well, I knew that wasn't coming from them. I knew that it was a message. And as the individual goes, so goes the collective. But I saw that same energy that they were calling me out on is what was having them call me out. That was the voice of that masculine. And too bad we have to use the gender connotations because it really is not a gender issue.
No, no, it's not even about that.
It's like a magnet, you know.
Yeah, it's a frequency, definitely.
Yeah.
And you know, to also honor the child, the inner child within us, that magical child that wants to keep playing and being spontaneous and being nurtured, and to not forget that aspect, because during this journey of ascension, we can really forget a lot because we're going through so much shifting, and it can be devastating at times. It can really pull us into the underworld where we have to face things. But as we come back up, to remember to let the inner child in you rise up. Because when you allow that magical child that wants to come out and play and be seen and be known and be nurtured and, you know, say, hey, I'm here, please pay attention to me. That's such an important piece. And when I hear people say, oh, you're acting like a child. Oh, good. You noticed that. I'm glad you think I'm acting like a child because you know what? Good for me. And I don't mean, it's not about being bratty and irresponsible. It's about being in your creative essence, in your flow of that magical creature energy. It's again that dragon energy because it's all about magic.
Yeah,
you know,
it sure is
magical energy. It saves us. It really does. It helps us tremendously.
Yeah, the laughter. Too, the
Absolutely.
goofiness.
I almost feel like I'd like to give a light language blessing to activate our magical child and to really bring that essence out.
Well, do it
at the end, or maybe at some point, if people would like that. I always like to offer something.
Absolutely, I say do it. Do it now.
I'm going to do it now. So this is for the magical child in all of us to pay attention and let the child come up and play and be seen and heard and known, and remember who you are through that child. So this is going to be a light language blessing. I feel a lot of Pleiadian energy, some Lyran. Wow, I feel a lot. Oh, this is Regulus, which is the Leo energy. Feel a lot of that coming through, which is the child. Leo is the child. Orokoshita mui untero na chato tia ma koi tai ocha kota layo. Aluma ku soto shemyaro kamusita yuto chetai. Aromakotomba at ot ad. Osan anchanatayate. Kanustara la yamma shata mukaroba foi chema. Akuntan anade atomadiadai akopal akoshata mokatai. Amoda vaya lo makosata lo makoshamatatai. Akopara mofai azai shamato. Uruka shemyaru katam onde atoatea ma. More. This is to clear the collective consciousness of any distractions, distortions, illusions, confusions that are keeping you in limitation. Shemyo kato matoi cha motafa ishatam. Opakoi sama shatat. Borokomakote moza vai sham antoi tam ya. Alum ankut at omeza ashamatal akutata. Akutai itat at katkut atakushum at chair. Karakuta oi ishtam a. Shaboka soy shemya kota. Akuba em andui dia moka lui shamo la layara komota. Akumba op at ojes azamoza jes aijes ere kasota. Shalai shamonadai imakata mikata. And breathe. And just let that continue to permeate, to fill you up, to activate your own essence, because you have it in you. It's there waiting. Woo.
Holy shift. You hit a, I don't know if you did one on, I get to hear a lot of light language. And by the way, Jillian, who I believe is coming on this next month, she said, this is the first time I've seen the mirror of the words, sounds, and the hand and arm gestures in another. And I just wanted to say, as I'm getting lit up over here on my masculine side, my masculine headphone ear, that the more awareness and the more exposure there is to transmissions like you just did, the more this thing expands. So anyone out there that wants to get, to come on and share this and understand that you're not the only one doing it. I don't do it. Morgan does it, but what I was going to say is you hit a certain tone, and it made me jerk. And it was a tone, and it wasn't a single tone. It actually reminded me of sometimes what I get in my ears when it'll be several different tones coming in at the same time. And you actually did it for like 3 seconds, and it like freaked me out.
Oh, wow.
Did you do it? Were you aware of that?
No, I tell you the truth. When I'm in it, I kind of just, I just let it flow. I'm not really thinking or trying to figure out, well, what's that sound, or what was that frequency, or what was that, geometry image or whatever that came through. I just kind of try to get out of the way and just allow, because I don't only feel it, as I said, people talk about that we're channeling light language, which I think is somewhat true, but I also believe that it's infinite because it's inside of us and it comes out. Yeah. So there's this infinity of energy that it's the cosmic, the earth, but it's also within. So
yeah, that was powerful. Thank you very much for
Please, thank
sharing
you
that
for
with
having me on. I'm
that
glad
was
to offer. You
it's
know,
still having repercussions over here. Something's something's coming in.
the
You know,
dragon.
for months and months and months, and even going back 2 and 3 years, really, I kept getting the sensations on my right side of the body, and I knew, and in my right ear, and I knew it was feminine. I knew it was the Mother Goddess energy because she told me, right, and she'd come and pop in my face, you know, and then back to the, and I hadn't thought of this, but back to the masculine thing. It started the last quarter of last year, but it really started amping up consistently since January.
Yeah,
You know,
January was a big month for that. A lot of people were feeling that. I agree. It's potent stuff. I'm excited to see where we're headed with all of this. You know, it's an incredible time. I mean, once we come out of the Mercury retrograde, I don't think we have anything big coming up. You know, the next thing that will be coming up is there will be an eclipse in July in Cancer. And I believe it's July 2nd, and my natal moon is in Cancer. So it'll be interesting to see where that's going to take us. But that's
you
that
know,
Mercury.
I still think that the next 2 weeks, we still got 2 weeks in this month.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, I feel like, you know, teleporting, you know, bilocation. I mean, and people talk, well, I can do this, I can do that, but I'm talking about physical matter, you know, appearing, you know, on the other side of the world, or whatever the case is. I think supernatural abilities are being expanded, and we start doing it. We're remembering it, we do it, and really our vibration is what's really allowing that, because everything's paralleling our expansion, right? You know?
Yeah, for
I mean,
sure.
I have no idea, but to know that it's going to be, it's way beyond, it's beyond our comprehension.
It totally.
And I think it's moving a lot faster than we could imagine.
Yeah, it is. If you try to figure it out with the mind, it can really put you in. I mean, I find if I get too much in my head about it, I start to feel myself go out of balance. And then I realize, okay, drop that, you know, let the flow take you instead of you trying to figure this out, because we're used to, you know, the mind being in control. We've been so programmed and conditioned to let the mind lead the way.
Yeah.
And if we can realize that it's not running the show here, you know, it really, it never has. It's just that illusion that it has.
Yeah.
You know,
well, it created an imbalance and distorted external mirror because because it was leading the way. That's what you're saying. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. It was major distortions. And now we're coming out of those distortions into this place of grace, of bliss, you know, of embodying that too, because it's really dropped the mind and come down into the heart, into the belly, you know, down into the earth, and, you know, give the gratitude to Mother Earth, because she's still getting bombarded with a lot of trauma, you know, in so many ways. And, you know, she loves us unconditionally, and to honor her every day when I get up and I have my little routine and ritual that I do, the first thing I do is connect to my heart, and I send from my heart deep love and gratitude to Mother Earth. And then I ask her to please enter, to come up through me and fill me with her stable, grounded presence, and to move up through me and then go up to the cosmic forces and bring the cosmic forces down, so that, you know, I'm a clear vessel, you know, be an open vessel for the cosmic and earth forces to flow through unimpeded, because that's that balancing again. We need that balance of, whether you want to call it masculine, feminine, God, goddess, dark, light, whatever it is, it needs to come into harmony so that we can function better and navigate this journey from a place of mastery, from that multidimensional sense of who we are, that essence. I do think that's important.
Well, considering that you just turned into some type of jungle panther in front of my face, I'm going to go ahead and take your word for it. I don't know if it came out on the film, I see things like that when I'm doing these shows. I hadn't seen one that distinct though. That was pretty.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I wish I could have seen that.
Yeah, it was a black blue, like a Black Panther, but it was blue black.
Ooh, I love panthers.
Yeah, it was a blue black panther, whatever you call that, fur or whatever. I don't even know how to talk anymore.
Yeah,
with
no, that's
blue,
okay. That makes
with
sense.
blue eyes. Yeah, like your shirt,
Yeah.
blue, like deep blue eyes, right?
Well, that dark blue, that deep blue that comes from the Arcturus and Sirius energies, which I connect very strongly to. This is a very powerful color for healing and for really coming into our mastery too.
My favorite color. The baby blue is that your favorite color?
I love all the different color blues. The lapis blue and the sapphire is what I was thinking of. Sapphire blue. These are good colors to work with.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to like be horizontal here before the next show. I still got 2 powerful shows. It's a powerful day. Everything's been powerful.
Yeah, we're in a powerful time. I just wanted to mention that here in New York City next weekend, we have the New Life Expo from Friday to Sunday, the 22nd of March to the 24th. I'm going to be speaking on the light language panel on Friday, the 22nd at 7 p.m. And I have a bunch of colleagues there, my sisters who are going to be on that panel with me, Judy Satori, Jody Sirota, Audrey Light Language, and I think Kate Loy is going to be there too. There's going to be 5 of them.
And Audrey Light Language, she's been on the show before.
Yeah.
Kamara Ford is going to go up there. She just sent me a note.
So any of you in the New York area, you got to come and stop in and visit us because we're going to be there and it's going to be a light language panel. So it'll be really infused with powerful frequencies with all these powerful women. So I'm excited.
I would love to I wish I had somebody to carry a camera or a phone.
Maybe we can I know they'll have audio recordings of it. I'm pretty sure they will.
I loved it. I've done some of that in New York and Sedona. I did it in Washington, D.C. and then to stream it live. And then, that's one thing I'd really like to expand into doing. But you got to crawl before you can walk. Oh, well, maybe we got to crawl before we fly. Maybe we're going to be flying pretty soon.
Yeah.
Just dematerializing and rematerializing. So, that's in New York. And what part of New York is it in?
Oh, it's going to be at the Hotel New Yorker on 8th Avenue, and I think it's 33rd Street. But in Manhattan, if you go on to my timeline, I've been posting about the expo. It's got all the information on there. Just go to my timeline, and I'll be posting about it again. I had it on there the other day. I'll make sure I put it up again. So
if you remember, flip it over to me, and I'll put it out there too.
Okay, sure, I'll send it to you.
I think New York is our biggest market.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that's not even counting because the demographics separate by state.
Right.
They do city then state, but New York's always been the biggest, and we got a lot of people that are involved in support out of New Jersey.
Yeah.
So I would say that area is really thick. Yeah. So okay. So you want to get together again next month?
Sure, I'd love to. I love being on your show. I think it's great. I'm here to support anyway. I've been listening to a lot of your guests, and it's been fun. I'm enjoying it.
Right on. I miss that part of the country when Morgan gets back. As long as it's warm, I know she won't have a problem. We don't do good with a whole lot of people, environments like that, but I really feel like that's a strong, powerful vortex that, as I understood it when I was going through it for a few months and I didn't know the depth of what I know now, I knew that I was anchoring and stabilizing and balancing grid points, I'm sure with many, many other people, but it's a powerful, powerful metropolitan area. So
yeah, it is. It's not so easy for a sensitive at times, but we have to really learn to navigate the frequencies here because it can be challenging.
Yeah, we've had a few people on in the area since Natalie Gacci. I think she's in Jersey City. I can't remember where all these people are.
Okay.
Simone Boltz.
Oh, yeah.
She's over there. Dina Divine and her husband. I can't remember his name.
I think they're in Brooklyn.
No, they're the ones in Jersey City, I think.
Oh, okay.
And then,
yeah. That's right.
Karen Anastasia Riley.
Yes,
is
she's in New Jersey.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people over there. I'd
I'm
love to do
wearing
an
one of
event.
her pieces right now.
You
Karen
really?
made this.
Very cool. Very cool. Linda Dinkelman's there. She just said, come to New York. You can stay with me in Long Island.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. So until I don't have my calendar with me, but
we'll figure that out. I'd love to come back on.
No, I'll hook you up. We're going automated, and so I'll just send you a note. You go to the calendar and just punch in whatever you want. Okay.
Yeah,
thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that stuff with us. That light language.
Much love to everybody. Thank you all for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed the light language blessings and sending each of you lots of love and hugs, and be kind to yourself and let that magical child out. It wants to play with dragons.
There you go. There you go. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you in a couple hours with Sasha Grace. And then tonight, or in a few hours, some people's morning, really powerful show with Belinda Maru out of Mallorca, Spain, talking about sacred sexual creative energy. And it's going to be a good day. Thanks a lot, Maryanne. We'll see you.